Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, April 27th, and this begins our 6th week of learning at home. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this week because we have a new letter of the week, and I'll show you in just a moment. What our letter of the week is, last week we had the letter W, and this week we have the next one in the alphabet song. So it is the letter X. Oh, and Miss Mary already made a mistake on her X. I made it cross too low. So when we're learning how to do X, be careful. You want your first, the beginning line, to match up with your second line here in a straight line. And you want your line over here to match up over here, and you can see I didn't. So we're going to try and do this really slowly. I know it looks like a real simple letter, and you guys are going to catch on in 2 seconds. So let's start with our first line. We're going to go diagonal, and this is going to be a bigger diagonal than we made with the W. We don't want it to be a very small diagonal. Then we get to lift our pen, go back up to the top, and notice how I'm going to go straight up to where that one was and do a diagonal. You want your cross to be in the middle, and you want your lines to line up. Do not make it super big, and don't make it super skinny either. Ugh, both of those are not good. So let's try some X's for real. Diagonal down to the bottom. Lift your hand, go back up to the top, diagonal down to the bottom with a cross in the middle. Diagonal down to the bottom, diagonal down to the bottom with a cross in the middle. Diagonal, diagonal, pretty good there. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X's. I can do another one right here. Diagonal, diagonal, cross in the middle. Diagonal, diagonal, cross in the middle. Diagonal, diagonal, cross in the middle. Let's see if I have 8 X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that one didn't go all the way down to the bottom, so I'm going to make it go down. Now for lowercase x's, it's the same thing, only squished. Diagonal, diagonal, between the dotted line and the bottom line. Make sure you go all the way down to the bottom line. Make sure that you cross somewhere in the middle between these. You don't want to cross too high up. And you don't want to cross too far down, because even though these are still X's, they're not as good as we can make them. So let's do another one. Diagonal, diagonal, always starting from the top and going down. Always starting from the top and going down. I think I got the hang of this. My X's are looking pretty good. Oops, I went backwards, but that's okay. Oh, I think I did more than 8 X's. Let me check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah, I did a few extra ones. 9, 10, 11. I think I will have my son pick out what he thinks is the best X. He's going to have to use this one because I don't know where my other colors went. So circle what you think is my best X, Adam. Alright, he chose a lowercase x, which means I'll find my best capital X. I like this one right here. Make sure someone is circling it or you're circling it, and that's our letter for the week, X. Now, for X, it's really hard to find too many words that begin with the letter X. I can think of one, and I have one on my list today. But when you go around the house and try to find things that have X in it, we're going to take X anywhere in the word, beginning, middle, or end. So you can see some of my ideas. I'm going to get up and go over to my kitchen counter. The first thing I found was my husband's tuxedo. You can hear the x sound in the middle, tuxedo. Sometimes we call this a tux, and the x from the X is right there at the end when we call it a tux. I did find an X-ray, and this was Miss Mary's foot a long time ago. It's a good thing my foot is all better now because it wasn't looking really good in this X-ray. I'm sure everyone has some of these right now. They've been the hot item at the grocery store. The reason why I included them is because they have a X at the end. These are Clorox wipes. Clorox at the end. From my son, I got a special type of train car called a box car. Box. You can hear the X. Now this may look like a candle, and it is, but it's made out of something called wax. Do you hear the X sound? Wax. And then the last thing I found was a tissue box. So I found a lot of X words, and I must admit I did use the internet to help me with some ideas. So if you need some ideas for X words, you can look on the internet. So I'm going to write down all the X words I just found. First I'm going to do my capital X, and then my lowercase x, and then I'm going to start with I found my husband's tux. And we'll just leave it at tux. We could write the whole word, tuxedo, if we wanted to. Then I found an X-ray. And I found a bottle of Clorox wipes. Then I found a candle made of wax. And I found a tissue box. And I also found a box car. Those were all of my X words. I hope you guys can find some additional ones, and if you do, leave me a message in the comments or send me a list of the X words you found to ddisney2@yahoo.com. Well, since today's Monday, every Monday we've been trying to write a letter to your teacher, and every Monday I've written a letter to a different teacher. Today's teacher is a teacher who works at Mabel Payne. Her name is Miss Alice. Miss Elise. So sorry, Miss Elise. I can't believe I did that. Dear Miss Elise, I miss you. If you see something swishing in front of my letter, that's my cat's tail. And your class so much. Exclamation point there, because I really mean it. I hope everyone is well. Now, Miss Elise has a lot of adult helpers in her class, and they're really nice ladies. So I'm going to make sure to make a note to them too. Tell your aides I say hello to them too. Here is a picture to make you smile. And then I'm going to, okay, now this just occurred to me that some of you may be joining me after I've already explained the letters. Every Monday I'm writing a letter to a teacher, to your child's teacher, and you're going to have to do the writing, moms and dads, but only write what your kids tell you to. You can guide them through how to write a letter, what some things you might want to include. But you're going to be doing this writing, moms and dads, but Super Preppies, I expect you to do the last part of the letter, and that is to write the letter L, the letter O, the letter V, the letter E, which spells love, put a comma, and write your name. Well, I'm going to put my name, Miss Mary, but you're going to write your own name. So every Monday, parents, have them write a letter to their teachers. Their teachers would love to get letters. You can take a picture of it and send it in a text or an email. You can mail them to the school, but I know the teachers aren't at school and they won't be able to get them. But what a wonderful surprise they'd get when they come back to class if there were just piles of letters waiting for them. Now, Super Preppies, because I promised Miss Elise a picture that will make her smile, I better come up with a really good picture that will make her smile. What can I do to make her smile? I know. I will draw a goofy face. So let's go down here. I'm going to get a smiley emoji, And I'm going to eventually color that in all yellow, but before I color it in yellow, I definitely want to make a goofy face. I did promise her a picture that would make her smile. So let's see if I can get a really goofy face in there. I think that'll do it. I'm going to do my best when I color. Remember, Miss Mary is always saying, no scribble scrabble. Do your best. I color fast, but when I come to a line, I slow down and I try really hard to control my crayon so it does what I want it to do. Okay, I'm almost done with my goofy face. Just have to go underneath this silly smile. Maybe I should stick a tongue out. I left some space there that I didn't color in yellow. So maybe I can do that. I can have a tongue sticking out like that. Kind of looks silly. I may have to color that in pink so she knows that's the tongue sticking out. All right, so I drew a silly picture to make Miss Elise smile. Oh, I like that. That looks even better with the circle around it. And I'm going to send that to her. Make sure you send your letters. And remember, parents, I know you've been getting regular emails from your teachers, but just in case, it is the teacher's first initial of their first name right next to their last name at pylusd.org. Well, today's Monday, so we're not going to do our usual on the calendar. We're not going to do everything we normally do, but I did want to catch up. So I want to see if you remember the month. Let me hear it, preppies. That's right, it's the month of April. And of course we know our days of the week. We know Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And when we left school on Friday, we had the 24th up. So Miss Mary added Saturday and Sunday. What do you think Monday's going to be? I know it's the 27th, but I need to know what you think the pattern will be. Well, let's see. We have rainbow, umbrella, something. Now remember I told you you could check the diagonals to find out what it's going to be. So let me look at this diagonal. Oh, I see a definite pattern. I think I know what it's going to be. And if you guess the raindrops, you got it right. Today is the 27th of April, and in our patterns, it's the raindrops. Now that's all we're going to do for calendar today. We'll do some more tomorrow, I promise. Well, I have a visitor today, and I'm not quite sure how long Princess is going to stay, but you'll see my cat is listening to our story today. Good morning, Princess. Our story today is called Thomas Goes Fishing. Now, Thomas is a train. How can a train go fishing? Oh, this story must not interest Princess because she just walked away. Well, anyway, Thomas goes fishing. Oh, she's going to listen from over there. Can you guys see her in the background? Yeah? Okay. Princess is going to take a nap while we read our story. It's written by the Reverend W. Audrey and illustrated by Richard Courtney. Thomas chugged by the river. He saw children fishing. Beep, beep, Thomas said. The children waved. I want to fish, said Thomas. An engine fishing, the driver said. That is funny. Each day, Thomas saw the children. Each day, Thomas wished to fish. One day, Thomas stopped. Oh dear, he said, my boiler hurts. The driver looked in the boiler. It was empty. The driver filled Thomas's boiler with water from the river. Soon they were chugging along. Oh, looks like everything's much better now. Thomas is even smiling. You can see right there. Thomas stopped again. Said Thomas, my boiler feels funny. The driver looked in the boiler. This time it was not empty. Do you guys see what's inside Thomas? I see fish. There was water in the boiler. That was not all. There were fish too. Thomas had an idea. He beep-beeped loudly. The children came to see Thomas. The children could fish in the river. The driver could fish in Thomas. And And that is what they did. Look, the children are fishing and the driver is fishing. Beep, beep, said Thomas. I guess the driver caught one of the fish. So even though Thomas didn't get to go fishing, he became a pond so that the driver could go fishing. When my son was a little boy, this was one of his favorite stories. You can see it's ripped along the sides, and it's got stuff all over the front, and it's all wrinkled. This has been a well-read, well-loved story, and I hope you guys develop your own set of stories that you have Mommy and Daddy read to you over and over again. All right, so we're on the month of April. We're still doing the number 8, but this is our last week of 8, and then we start a new month and a new number. So let's get our 8s done. We're going to start at the happy face and go around to the halfway point, around to the bottom, around to the halfway point, around to the top. Let's see if we can go a little faster. Make sure you're going all the way down to the bottom. Around, 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 around. Around, 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 around. We usually do 8 8s. I'm liking my 8s here. I think I'm doing really, uh-oh. Miss Mary kind of got going too fast. That's what happens when I try to do things too fast. So I'm going to cross these out because I don't like any of them. And I'm going to go back to being careful. Around, around, down to the bottom, around, around, back up to the top. Wow, when I go slowly, I do really good work. And when I take my time, it really shows. When I go fast, oh my, uh-oh. I think you see my 8s are looking a little more sloppy. I'm going to have to cross these out again. I'm so confused. I don't know how many 8s I have. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I was almost done. I have only one more 8 to do, and this better be a good 8. Around, around, down to the bottom, around, around, up to the top. Well, I'm thinking if I go a little faster, but I still focus, I can probably do some more. You don't always have to be super slow, but you should do your best work when you're making 8s. So in addition to writing our 8 8s today, in the weekly happenings, I see that we are supposed to draw 8 insects. Now remember, insects usually have 3 body parts and 6 legs. So I'm going to make some fun insects. These aren't real insects, they're made up insects. But let's see, I got 1 head, 1 abdomen, 1 thorax, and I need 6 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That kind of looks like a rainbow ant. Maybe I should color in the inside of his body another purple. Oh, I kind of like that. That's my rainbow ant. Oh, come on, Miss Mary, no scribble scrabble. We're supposed to draw 8 insects. Okay, well, here comes my next insect. And this insect likes to keep its legs up at the front. Oh my goodness, how's that insect going to carry around their body if they have this big long body and all their legs are at the front? Well, I'll tell you how they're going to do it. They're going to have really big butterfly wings. Butterflies are insects, and I just made a butterfly. Now I'm going to have to draw in some cool designs on my butterfly because they always have amazing patterns on their wings. And I'm going to put in some things that look like eyeballs because sometimes butterflies do this. Their wings have something that looks like an eyeball on the bottom, and that's so that if any mean other creatures out there are trying to attack them, they might attack where the eyeballs are and the insect stays safe. It's called camouflage. So I have 1, 2 insects. I need some more. 1, 2, 3. There's my 3 body parts. Ooh, that's an interesting shape. And I'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, we'll just leave it like that. How about a really tiny bug? Oh, that definitely looks like an ant because my legs are so close, or my body parts are so close together. Okay, kind of like that. Now I can make this go a little farther, this last part, and I can turn this insect into kind of like this. Watch this. A dragonfly. Ooh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 insects. I'm supposed to make 8 insects. So let's see if I can make another one. How about big, little, kind of like that one. And we'll put some polka dots on this one. Huh, like a yellow and gray ladybug. How weird. And we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. That's a good one. We have to make 8, and I know I'm not there yet, so I'll do another one. Okay, and I'm going to put some stripes on this one. Oh, he kind of looks like a tiger insect because he's orange and black. Oh, that's kind of cool. Tiger bug. So we'll put his legs spread out. There we go. And I'm going to put some antennas on this one. Doink, doink, because sometimes insects have antennas. Oh, ladybugs have antennas. I should have put antennas on him. Let's see. I will draw, oh, I haven't drawn a pink bug yet. Or an insect. Remember, that's their scientific name. I'm going to give this one a really wide thorax or last body part. Let's see, we'll put legs up at the top. That kind of looks like a princess in a ball gown. So I think I'm going to go like this and put a cool pattern on it. Almost like a ballerina bug. That's what I'm going to call that one, the ballerina bug. Now, I've made so many, I don't know how many I've done, and in the weekly happenings, I'm supposed to make 8, so I'm going to number these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only have to make 1 more insect. Let's see. We'll make it a real teeny tiny one, and we'll put teeny tiny legs. Dink, dink, dink. I don't even know if you guys can see those legs. That is my 8th insect. I made all different kinds. I'm really liking that. And the other thing that we were supposed to do today in the weekly happenings was when we're practicing the number 8, we're supposed to count and clap. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it for math. Now for Monday, I usually do something in the kitchen, something that they can play with, eat with, do something else, addition with. But this is our last week of insects, and so I'm really just going to have some nice arts and crafts time. Some of this will take more time than others. Today's craft is a sewing craft for bugs. Now, you are going to need a plate. If you have it a hole punch or some other way you can punch a hole in the paper plate, pair of scissors, glue, tape, and different colors of string. Now it just so happened that I had a whole bunch of yellow at home, so I'm making a bumblebee. But as you saw in the last activity, we made all different kinds of bugs. So whatever color string you have should work just fine for this activity. I also needed a marker. I used a pipe cleaner, although you certainly don't have to, but this was just a fun extra. I just happened to have them. And then I like to use googly eyes, but I don't have any and I haven't been to the store to buy any. I do, however, have a bunch of these things that were just lying around. I don't even know why I bought them. They're little faux jewels, and I don't think I've ever used them for anything. So I'm going to use them for googly eyes today. What I'm going to do is just draw an eyeball on it and use it as a googly eye. If you don't have those, you most definitely can just cut out an eyeball from paper and glue it onto the finished project. My intent here is to try and use things that we have at home. Okay, so the first time I tried this project, I figured I would cut a really big hole in the plate that went all the way around. Big beginner's mistake. You want to make your hole small enough that the kids can fill in the project with string and not take 14 hours to do it. This actually took some time on my part, so this will take a lot for the kids, but it's much easier if you cut a small hole in the beginning than if you cut a large hole. So let's begin. I have my plate. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going, well, it doesn't really matter which size you use. And I'm just going to pick any circle that I have at home that I feel is a decent size and copy the circle. Now once you have that, you can use that as your guide. So I'm gonna fold the plate in half a little bit, just kind of dent it, and that way I can stick my scissors there in the middle, and I'll cut out a little triangle piece, because now when I open it up, I'll be able to stick the scissors in there and properly cut out the hole. So you want to cut out the hole. Doesn't have to be perfect because the kids are going to be covering it up with string, but this is the only way you can get the hole punch for the holes for the actual bug. So once you have the hole, you can either toss this or you can use it for wings later on. I can take my scissors and cut out a couple of wings, and then I can save that for my bug later on, and I can glue these wings onto the bug when they're done. It looks something like this. I haven't glued these on yet, but you get the idea. Once you're done with that, parents, this is still your prep time. A lot of this is going to be your prep time, parents, but you're not going to regret it. This actually comes out really cool. I'm going to go around the circle and just cut out different holes. You want them to be reasonably far away from the edge of the circle. Otherwise, the preppy carers will tend to pull them, and they'll pull right through them into the circle, and you won't be able to use that hole anymore. So give yourself a good gap. And maybe not this many holes, but just spread them out evenly. Once you've done this, you can put this aside. This is going to be for the preppy carers to use, but you're going to want to prepare for them several strings. Now, once they start sewing, let's see, I'll grab my string. Now, if you're using regular embroidery thread, one, I'd suggest a smaller hole. Two, I'd suggest make sure you have plenty of it because they'll use a lot of it. You can use regular yarn. That's probably your best bet if you have any yarn lying around the house. I know Walmart sells it, so if you do get out to the store, you can get it there. Do not cut the strings super long or super short. You may even want to try a couple different sizes and see what the kids like. I would make several of these ahead of time. If I were you parents, tie a knot, a double knot at the end of each string, and then on the other side, the side they're going to sew with, I would take some, and I find painter's tape works really well, but so does masking tape, if there's Scotch tape if you have it, any tape, and put it on this, put the string on the tape like this, and then roll it over, and I'll show you how it looks when it's all finished, because what you're doing is you're creating a stiff point of the yarn so that it'll be easier for the kids to thread it through the holes. Now, I'm squishing it really hard with my fingers at the end because I want it to stay. It's certainly not perfect, but it will make it much easier. And then once you have, and I would seriously make like 10 of these, once you have it, you can start your kids on it. Now, super preppies, the easiest way to do this, I have found, is once you put it in one hole, go across to the other side of your plate, and then come right next to it and go somewhere else. And then go right next to that somewhere else and go somewhere else. So you're going to go across, next door, across, next door, across, and you're going to keep doing this. Oh, I popped my knot out. Maybe triple knot your knots, parents. And then you're just going to keep going until your string gets too small. Now, parents, you can tuck that finished string in the back right here so that it just dangles, and they can grab another string. Seriously, you're going to want to do about 10, maybe 20 of these. This is an activity that's going to take more than one day. You can, if they're getting tired of it, they can go back another day, and it's something that they can pick up as their, you know, Mom, I'm bored, or just leave it out where they can get to it with some ample strings. You can see the back of mine has plenty of those blue tapes. Once you have it, I took some black string and just went back and forth across to get the stripes, and I glued on some eyeballs, put on the antennas, and I'm going to glue on the wings right now. Remember, Super Preppies, dot, dot, not a lot. This one is probably a really involved project, and it's probably for the kids that really do like sewing. They like detail work. It's probably not for every kid, but you'll never know if your kid's ready for it until you try it. So that is the Bumblebee sewing project, or the Bug sewing project if you use any other colors, and that is our craft for today. Now there's one more thing that I want to talk to you about, and that is our website of the day. So let me grab a marker really quick and I'll write down the website's name. It is, and you guys I know have been studying Eric Carle in the weekly happenings. They've been putting up stories for you to watch, and he is our author for the month of April. So I went to the eric-carle.com website, and I looked around a little bit, and I'm going to tell you, if you go to the section called downloads, you will see lots of fun activities that your kids can do. Some of it requires you to download it, print it, but some of it it really doesn't. Take a look around in the download section of the eric-carle.com website. You won't regret it. It's a great website for kids. Super Preppies, happy Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow.